Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you. I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you, depending on your time zone. I am Pastor Maxwell Nnawuihe. I am trying to see what I can do to make sure that this very behold, this very great document, this very judgment of the United Nations that is in the favor of Mazi Namdi Kanu and by extension in favor of Biafrans. So we have taken it upon ourselves to enlighten the people the more. I know that there are those who know. There are a good number of people among the political class, the politicians, and also those who are in the positions of authority and who are major influencers of politics, those who are opinion models and those who are in different organizations that play a major role in the governance of Nigeria. They know the very United Nations judgment. They know the support of the United Nations for Mazi Namdi Kanu. So I am taking it as a responsibility to make sure that we update our people stage by stage, paragraph by paragraph, what the United Nations judgment said, how they're supporting Namdi Kanu, what they said about his release. It is a very, very compelling document. Very, very compelling. It is very, very detailed, as I've said in several broadcasts. And we have been bringing it stage by stage, bit by bit, paragraph by paragraph. Yesterday, we were able to move down to paragraph 8, explaining the submission that was made by the source. The source that reached out to them on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu is Bruce Fein. He's international attorney and the international attorney of the IPOB, the Indigenous People of Biafra. I am bringing it to the screen without further ado. But before then, I want to confirm that my voice is coming out loud and clear the way it's supposed to be. I want to really confirm it that my voice is loud and clear so that we can know that what we are saying from this end is getting out there. That is the essence of communication. When I speak from this end, you hear from that very end where you are. That is the essence of communication, so that you will be guided, so that those who don't really know the decision, the support of the United Nations, what they said about the release of Nnamdi Kanu, they will also come to that very understanding. And this will guide you. Of course, my voice is coming out loud and clear. I am Pastor Maxwell Nnawuihe. We must continue. We must continue. Without further delay, I am bringing it to the screen immediately. This is that very support that the United Nations has given to Mazi Namdi Kanu. They support him in his agitation. They support him for his release. They support him for the freedom of Biafrans. They support him for a free republic of Biafra. They support him. His genre of broadcast and his mode or method of agitation, they support him. This is the most important that our people need to know. They support him. Many people may not like his pattern of broadcast or his pattern of agitation. The politicians may not like it, but the United Nations supports him. They support him. That is the most important. You remember some years ago, some people were asking you, oh, what has the United Nations say? Oh, do you think that they are supporting you? Oh, do you think that the United Nations will come and support Nnamdi Kanu? Oh, I don't think they will come. What did they say? And by the special grace of God, the United Nations has spoken in the favor of Mazi Namdi Kanu and in the favor of the Biafra restoration. The same people that were asking what the United Nations say, how are they supporting us? Now they have heard what they have said. Still, they don't want to come and support Mazi Namdi Kanu. Still, they don't want to come out boldly. Some of them are still hiding till now. Some of them are still thinking that maybe the Nigerian politics is the way to go. Maybe there is the possibility of a better Nigeria. They have tried it even last year, 2023, during the presidential election. They have seen it that that is not the way to go. Rather than coming out en mass to stand behind Nnamdi Kanu, to work very hard, to use everything in disposal, every instrumentality they have to deploy, every string they have to pull. Instead of them to pull them and make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is released, they are sitting on the fence. They are just folding their hands, thinking of, oh, let us wait for 2027, to try to see whether we are going to become the president, the Igbo presidency after who is there now? Tinubu, Ahmed Tinubu. The same way that Arthur Eze, a multi-billionaire of the Igbo extraction, the same way that he deceived our people, that Buhari will give the Igbo people power. He told the whole Biafrans and the whole Igbo people at Abakaliki that Buhari will give power to Dave Omahi today, who is in charge. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What United Nations said about Nnamdi Kanu. United Nations supports Mazi Namdi Kanu. The United Nations judgment set him free. This is our message, and that is the truth. The truth shall prevail. It doesn't matter those that fight against it. It shall surely prevail. If you are joining us for the first time, I am scrolling up for you to see where we are coming from. But I'm not going to read from the previous paragraphs because of time. I am going to continue from where we stopped yesterday, but this is to show you the document that I am broadcasting from. This is the document that I am broadcasting from. This is Human Rights Council Working Group on Arbitrary Detention. This is a United Nations document. It is a United Nations document. This is stronger and more powerful than ECOWAS. Advance unedited version. This was adopted and was communicated, rather it was communicated, made public on the 20th of July 2022. On the 20th July 2022. And look at the headings, look at the focus, look at what this document is all about. Opinion adopted by the Working Group on Arbitrary Detention on its 93rd session between the 30th March and April 8, 2022. Who are they talking about? Opinion number 25. Now look at it. Opinion number 25/2022 concerning Mr. Nwanne Kenyi Nnamdi Kanu Nigeria versus Kenya. So this is the paragraph 1. We have done the update on this. The paragraph 2. We have done the update of the paragraph 2. The paragraph 3. We have done it. The paragraph 3. You have A, B, C, and E. Now, this is the paragraph 4, with source submitted to the work of Mazi Namdi Kanu. He is the source. What did he submit to the United Nations Working Group? That has been our focus since yesterday. Communication from the source. What did he say? The communication from the source. Let me zoom it again. Let me zoom it again. I need to zoom it that you may see. And after that, we proceed. Now, communication from the source. I hope you're following. The source is Bruce Fein, the American International Attorney of Mazi Namdi Kanu. He's from the United States of America. Now, we saw the paragraph 4. We read it yesterday, the paragraph 4. And you can see the paragraph 4. We have A, under paragraph 4, arrest and detention. We have done the update on that. That is for those who have not been following. Now, we have also taken the paragraph 5. We have taken it, and we have taken the paragraph 6. We have taken it. We stopped at the paragraph 8, but for those that are joining us for the first time, let me begin from paragraph 7 to help them with the background of this very support that the United Nations has given to Mazi Namdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, held in the DSS dungeon in Abuja, Nigeria. It is important that I bring to your notice what is going on. Nigerian media can never dedicate their time to do this. They can never. The saboteurs and the betrayers that doesn't want him to come out, They can never ever dedicate their time to do this. It is impossible for them. They are into merchandise. They are into exploiting his absence and detention to enrich themselves. Now, let us continue. Let us continue. It is important we do so. Starting from the paragraph 7, as you can see on the screen, reportedly, the federal government of Nigeria initially charged Mr. Kanu with 4 offenses. 4 offenses were the first: conspiracy to commit treasonable felony in 2014 and 2015. That was number 1. Number 2, treasonable felony in 2014 and 2015. That is number 2. Number 3, defamation in 2015. Defamation. And improper importation of goods in 2015. Now, I don't want to say much about this because we've done that yesterday. The source alleges that these offenses are manufactured and all relate to old events. Further, the federal government of Nigeria allegedly amended the charges against Mr. Kanu to include accusations of levying war against Nigeria in 2015 through a radio broadcast from London, which the source alleges scrupulously refrained from inciting or encouraging violence or illegality. The amended charges reportedly charged Mr. Kanu with 7 offenses. Paragraph 8 was where we stopped yesterday. The source reports that a hearing of Mr. Kanu's case was scheduled to take place on 26th July 2021, but department operatives failed to produce Mr. Kanu in court without giving any reason, causing the case to be adjourned to 21st October 2021. I don't need to explain anything in this because it is very, very clear. Now, the paragraph 9. According to the source, on 21st October 2021, a hearing was held to address Mr. Kanu's motion to dismiss. Reportedly, the department blocked all traffic to the courthouse, which forced Mr. Kanu's legal team to walk more than 1 mile to be able to attend the proceedings. The source also notes that the department surrounded the court complex with an array of armed forces, creating an atmosphere of intimidation and danger. During the hearing, the court alleged sharply reprimanded the department for repeatedly blocking the access of Mr. Kanu's lawyers to their client, and unambiguously ordered them to permit Mr. Kanu to meet any 3 persons he wished on Mondays and Tuesdays for 2 hours each day. Paragraph 10. The source reports that the following Monday, on 25th October 2021, Mr. Kanu's lawyers visited the department headquarters pursuant to the court's order of 21st October 2021. While Mr. Kanu's lawyer confirmed his identity and was cleared for visitation, the department required all lawyers to wait for over 90 minutes. Thereafter, they reportedly announced that Mr. Kanu's international lawyer would never be permitted to visit his client because he was a foreigner, and that the key to the locked visitation room could not be retrieved, and thus no person would be able to visit Mr. Kanu on that day. As a result, Mr. Kanu's attorneys were unable to meet with their client. All of these were strategies. All of these were methods. All of these were very, very measures that were taken to make sure that Mazi Namdi Kanu's case was frustrated. His attorneys were frustrated. His legal team were frustrated, to make sure that he is denied justice, to make sure that they hold him according to their will and their wish, to make sure that they subvert justice and the Constitution, to make sure that The world is silenced and blindfolded not to see the plight of Mazi Namdi Kanu. But at the end of the day, they failed. They all failed. Let us look at the paragraph 11. If you are just joining us, I am Pst Maxwell Nnawuihe. Our focus of broadcast today: United Nations supports Mazi Namdi Kanu. United Nations supports Mazi Namdi Kanu. This should be ringing in your ears. This should be registered in your mind. Anytime you think about Mazi Namdi Kanu, I want you to understand that the United Nations support him. They are supporting him. It doesn't matter those who are against him. It doesn't matter those who doesn't want him to be free. It doesn't matter those who doesn't want him to have access to justice. It doesn't matter those who want him to die in the DSS dungeon in Abuja, Nigeria. It doesn't matter what anybody does. Either now or tomorrow, United Nations supports him. The Bible says that if a man's way pleases the Lord, he makes his enemies to be at peace with him. Who would have believed that is in this day and age? Who would have believed it? That in this very day that corruption is all over the place. Who would have believed it? That in this day, Nigeria can bribe any organization in the world with oil. That this global body, this most popular and influential global body, United Nations, will speak in support of Mazi Namdi Kanu, of Biafra restoration. This is what God has done, and I don't want you to take it for granted. Be focused, allow it to guide you. Rend to Mazi Namdi Kanu every support that you can have, any support you can afford, any way you can help to make sure that he is released from the DSS dungeon in Abuja, Nigeria. Do it. You will never lose. This is not a time to be afraid because the United Nations already support Mazi Namdi Kanu. You don't need to be scared anymore. Don't think that anybody will call you a terrorist. You can never, because the global body has spoken. They spoke on behalf of the whole world that Namdi Kanu is not a terrorist, that the Biafra Restoration Project, it is not a call for war. It is not a threat to Nigeria. It is not a call of unpatriotic people. It is not warmongering. It is their right. United Nations support Namdi Kanu. So if you don't support Namdi Kanu, you are going to lose at the end of the day, because this global body, the international community, they support Mazi Namdi Kanu. Don't betray his release. Don't sabotage his release. Don't continue to support the evil that subverts justice in his case. Stand up and speak at once. This will be to your own favor and advantage of our generation. Let us go to paragraph 11. Reportedly, an affidavit of facts was submitted to the Federal High Court of Nigeria on 21st October 2021, demonstrating the department's contempt of court and denial of access to Mr. Kanu's lawyers to their client on 4 occasions. According to the source, the affidavit of facts requested the dismissal of the 7-count amended charge based on the court's lack of jurisdiction. I hope you're following. It also reportedly argued that the federal government of Nigeria failed to plead offenses cognizable under Nigerian law and violated international laws when it ordered Mr. Kanu's extraordinary rendition and denied him access to counsel of his choice. What the very sentence is saying here is that the source, which is Bruce Fein, the affidavit of facts requested the dismissal of 7-count amended charge based on the court's lack of jurisdiction. I hope you're following. It also reportedly argued that the federal government of Nigeria failed to plead offenses cognizable under Nigerian law and violated international laws when it ordered Mr. Kanu's extraordinary rendition and denied him access to counsel of his choice. Paragraph 12. The source reports that on 10 November 2021, a hearing took place before the Federal High Court of Nigeria to address Mr. Kanu's motion to dismiss the amended charges. I hope you're following. I hope you are following. We are still live and direct, and I am Pst Maxwell Nnawuihe. The focus of this broadcast today is United Nations support Mazi Namdi Kanu. United Nations supports Mazi Namdi Kanu. Remember that this very document is 114 pages. 114 paragraphs. About 80 pages thereabout. 114 paragraph. We are now just taking the paragraph 12. That is where we are now. We still have a long way to go. I hope you are going to follow through, that you may understand what the United Nations said about Namdi Kanu and how they support him. They support him. That is the most important. Because if referendum will be organized today, United Nations will be there. United Nations will be there. We play a major role to help in organizing the referendum. This is a global body, and by this support they have given to Namdi Kanu through this very document, the Biafra referendum will be very easy, and it is going to be successful. That is the powers that be. That's why they don't want it. They don't want to release Namdi Kanu, because if they release him, the next thing will be a date for the referendum. They are very scared of it. We continue. Paragraph 12. The source reports that on 10 November 2021, a hearing took place before the Federal High Court to address Mr. Kanu's motion to dismiss the amended charges. Reportedly, the department singled out Mr. Kanu's international lawyer from other attorneys present and denied him entry into the courtroom for the 5th time without explanation. They denied him access into the courtroom for the 5th time. Bruce Fein had to fly from the United States of America to Nigeria. This is what you need to understand. And the cost of his flight from United Nations to Nigeria, the cost of his feeding accommodation in the hotel was so much. And remember that Bruce Fein is not just a common attorney. He is a renowned international attorney, international lawyer. He understands international laws. He knows where to push and compel a country through international laws in order for them to submit to justice. And that was why when he went to the United Nations, he succeeded. Also with prayers, because the spiritual controls the physical. Not only that, money was spent. And I want you to understand that the only group that have been sponsoring Bruce Fein from the time that he started this very process of bringing the United Nations into the matter of Namdi Kanu up until now, the group that have played a major role of about 90-something% is the IPOB Biafran Women Group. Even the recent visit of Bruce Fein to be in the court of Namdi Kanu's case on the 26th of February this year, it was taken care of by the IPOB Biafran Women Group led by Madam Bridget Okafor. They are the one that sponsored him alongside the contribution of the Rising Sun Foundation, and also one of the IPOB family in the New Jersey. That is the IPOB New Jersey. And a few persons, here and there. They made this contribution, and Bruce Fein went to the United Nations and was able to bring this very support for Namdi Kanu. And that is kudos. It is victory. That's why the wicked is jittery. They are very, very shaky. They didn't allow him to enter the courtroom for 5 times. All the money spent, running into millions, wasted. Because they were afraid and scared that this very international attorney understands international laws and is going to be a very bad business for the Nigerian government and in the favor of Mazi Namdi Kanu. We must continue from the paragraph 12. According to the source, which is Bruce Fein, Mr. Kanu's attorneys had agreed to boycott the court proceedings if the international lawyer was denied entry into the courtroom and therefore decided to move forward with a boycott. A video press conference was allegedly held outside the court to explain the reasons for the boycott. The source reports that without communicating with any of Mr. Kanu's lawyer, including his local lead counsel, the judge of the Federal High Court consulted privately with the prosecutors in Mr. Kanu's presence, but without his legal representation. The source explains that the judge subsequently adjourned the case until 19th January 2022 with no explanation. It might interest you to know that all this have been happening from 2021 until our prayer started in January 2022. Everything began to change. Everything began to change drastically. Everything. God stepped in and everything began to move in the fast lane by the grace of God. Because in the month of December 2021, which was about 6 months into the extraordinary rendition of Namdi Kanu, about 6 months of his detention, his incarceration, God spoke to me. He said, look at what to do. If you want Namdi Kanu to be released, look at what to do. In 3 months, I want to release him, but you must fast and pray. Every week, God gave us the numbers of days to fast and pray. And as we are fasting and praying, we are not undertaking any business, any work. We were not working, we were not going out. We were indoors. 5 days, 3 days, 4 days, every week. Beginning from the Sunday of every week. And as a pastor, I needed to go to church to hold service for our parishioners. But I couldn't do it. God says everybody must be inside the house. No business, no coming outside, no work. Stay inside, fast and pray. From the second, that was the first Sunday of January 2022. 2nd of January was on Sunday. That was the day that the fasting and prayer started. From the 2nd until the 31st of March 2022. God said, if you do it, not only you, as a pastor, as a church, every Biafran must do it. That was the instruction. That was the guideline. It was for everyone to participate. But unfortunately, they refused. Only the percentage that participated in that exercise for 3 months was not up to 3%. They were at most only 2%. Then when this prayer started, God began to move with speed, to speak, and to bring to pass what he promised he would do. So the case of Mazi Namdi Kanu was adjourned based on what is on the screen. It was adjourned to the 19th of January 2022. And on the 20th of January 2022, Mazi Namdi Kanu won the first victory at the Federal High Court of Nnawuihe, which awarded him a compensation of 1 billion naira, and that the Nigerian government must apologize to him because he did not break any law, he did not jump bail, he deserved his right, and that was Justice Benson Anya that delivered that judgment. That was the first victory that Namdi Kanu recorded when our fasting and prayer started. Remember where we have stopped today? This is the paragraph 12, and tomorrow we will come back to you with this very enlightenment broadcast. The focus is United Nations supports Mazi Namdi Kanu. I remain Pastor Maxwell Nnawuihe. This broadcast is going to end in a few seconds. And I want you to subscribe to this very channel. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook, on Twitter. And make sure you share all these videos, because what we speak